What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Danny the Bull, back with another live stream here on a Thursday evening. Going to talk about some altcoins as Bitcoin is hovering just under the previous all-time high. A lot around the corner, some good stuff around the corner, historically speaking, after Bitcoin breaks previous all-time high and goes into price discovery shortly thereafter. Alts start running also. So we're going to talk about some of our favorite alts. We'll talk about some Devve, some Medicaid. We'll talk about what's going on with OMI. We'll talk about Pal AI, Paladin, one that I like. And of course, whatever you guys want to talk about. So be active in the chat and let's get going. We'll talk about meme coins also because those things have been popping off. But let's see who we got in the house. We got Andrew D, first one here. What's good, Andrew? Swamp Rat. Let's make this money. Mcade. Yeah, and I've got Russ Mcade, the founder of Medicaid, coming on the channel on Monday for an interview. Monday, 3:30 p.m. Eastern time. I'll have Russ Mcade on the channel. Should be a good one. Really looking forward to that one. And we'll learn more about what they're doing because they are really making some moves. Foggy City in the house. What's going on? Happy Thursday. Channel member, thank you for supporting the channel, Foggy. Jordan Riz in the house. Let's go. Eli in the house. Yes, get that Devve dip. And we'll talk about Devve, the price action. What's going on over there? Is it at a good price right now? I think it is. Working on an Epico token trailer. Looking good. Nice. Who's working on that trailer? Jordan? Or are you talking about, tell me about that. Season 3 OG in the house. What's good? Base Lab 23 in the house. Walrus King. The homie Mark Myers in the house. I'll be talking about Rio here today, Mark. You're going to like that. Talk about the price potential of Rio as Rio just broke $1 for everyone who's been holding that, which is almost a 10x for me. That's one of the first alts that I started buying when everything was super cheap. I think I started at 11 cents. B-Dubs in the house. What's good, B-Dubs? Another channel member. Appreciate you. Medicaid or Masq? Better buy right now. Masq been quiet. Yeah, we'll look at both of them, Eli. I'm going to bookmark this, and I'm going to come back to this question later. Mohammed Siddiqui in the house. What's good? Jordan is working on it himself. Epico has a lot of community-driven content. Very nice. Share that. I'll definitely reshare that for you, Jordan. Jordan's an OMI whale. He's an Epico whale. He's a Medicaid whale. B-Dubs, thank you for that super sticker. Appreciate you. Always supporting the channel. Much appreciated. Ethan, all in. Yeah, man. I'm going to talk about Benji. I sold my Benji. I'm going to talk about that a little later, man. I definitely want to talk about the meme coins. But I made a good 25x on Taylor Swift cat coin. Jordan's got 3 million Medicaid. That's sick. Sick bag, man. I'm not quite there. I'm just under about 1 million Medicaid tokens, which I accumulated pretty cheap at that 1 cent level. So I like my bag. We'll talk about Medicaid. We'll talk about Masq. I'll definitely get back to that question. Talk about whatever you guys want to talk about a little later. Let's start with Bitcoin, the big daddy Bitcoin, the king of this, the king of the ring, and the mover of markets. Bitcoin, we had a little shakeout last week, but if you've been in crypto, you know that that's nothing to sweat. 15% dip on Bitcoin. Is that the pre-halving dip that people were waiting for? Recovered really quickly, right? So that lets you know that there is strength in this market and Bitcoin remains strong, but a 15% dump in one day, that was just 2 days ago. That's crazy. Was that the 5th? It's really crazy. It seems like it was well over a week ago. But recovered fast and now back to 67K. So, Bitcoin can really break through, and it briefly did break through all-time highs, and it is at an all-time high in terms of market cap, right? But it did briefly touch a new all-time high, but that was, nothing crazy. Didn't hit 70 or anything like that. But any day now could be the day where Bitcoin breaks through. And typically it'll take a couple of, bounces off of that resistance, that previous all-time high. We had our first test. We'll likely get one or two more, but within the next few weeks, we can expect Bitcoin to break through. And then the fun begins. All right, it's doing it earlier than ever before. It's never done it pre-halving. We say that this time is different, and every cycle is kind of rhymed in crypto, right? We always refer to the history and the cycle and the cyclical nature of things. But keep in mind that it's such a short span of history. This is still a baby in terms of, asset classes. Gold has been around for how long? The stock market's been around for, over a century. This asset class has only been around for, a little more than a decade. And so super short lifespan. And, over time, it's going to deviate from its history. And we're seeing that this cycle. All right. So that's why it's always important to be open to multiple outcomes. And a lot of people were saying you shouldn't buy altcoins until after the halving. You don't buy altcoins till after the halving because all the gains come after the halving. And a lot of people were saying that. Notable people were saying that. Benjamin Cohen and some others. And I disregarded them. I just accumulated because in my head, as this thing gains steam and we hit a new cycle, more and more people know the rules of the game. And more people are going to front run the expectation. And so you've got the ETF combined with people front running, history and expectation. And we are where we are, which is almost at a new all-time high for Bitcoin before the halving. And again, historically speaking, you can look at, this is a total 3. This is total altcoin market cap minus Bitcoin and Ethereum. Historically, we've had accumulation phases, and then after Bitcoin takes off, breakout. Here we are coming out of an accumulation phase in the initial stage of the breakout. It's coming. At least it should be coming, right? If history repeats itself. We should be on the verge of it, and that's exciting. Here's another, just for perspective. Altcoins are still lagging behind, right? Bitcoin, and this is how things work. This is the all-time high of Bitcoin. We're right below it. Look at how far we have to go to hit the all-time high for altcoins, right? So a big run-up is coming, and historically speaking, typically what happens is Bitcoin breaks all-time highs, continues to run, Bitcoin dominance goes up, right? Alts lag a couple weeks or a month or whatever it is, and then altcoins go crazy, right? And then they start their move up. And then after Bitcoin tops out, alts go do like another 5 or 7x in like parabolic moves left and right. And that's historically how it's worked. We'll see how it plays out this time, but things happen gradually in crypto. Like you'll see things moving gradually, and then all of a sudden things happen all at once. And so patience is important. A lot of people see their coins going sideways, ranging. We've seen gaming, range bound for a couple months. Feels boring. Keep in mind that AI was range bound for a good 2 months, and AI was boring. And then AI went nuts. And AI is still continuing to do well. But this is how things work, right? Things move gradually, and then they move all at once. And when they move all at once, it's a lot of fun. And that's when people have FOMO and want to buy. But really, we should be buying when things are moving gradually, right? We should be loading up. You should have been loaded up. Be loading up on things that you like, and execute your plan. Have foresight rather than, hindsight. Always important. I always stress that. And be prepared for volatility, because if that 15% dump in Bitcoin this week, if this bothered you right here, you have to have thick skin. This turned out to be a good buying opportunity in markets, right? When alts dumped alongside Bitcoin. In a bull market, when the overall trend is up and to the right, dips are for buying. And this, typically you could get 30% dips in a bull run, multiple, right, throughout the year, however long it lasts. You'll see multiple dips. It's like a storm passing overhead. You got to wait it out. And usually that's a buying opportunity, so long as markets, the market does what the market's going to do. So right now, the market's doing what it's doing well, doing, as expected right now. Bitcoin about to hit that new all-time high, I think, in a matter of weeks. And then altcoins will follow. So super exciting. Let's see who else we got in the house. Blase in the house. What's going on? Muhammad Siddiqui is an Mcade whale. 2.5 million Medicaid. Dope. He's catching up to you, Jordan. 2 million Medicaid here for Omi 190. And Muhammad's still buying. A lot of Medicaid whales in here, man, which is great to see. 500K Medicaid. That's a great number. 500,000. We'll look at some Medicaid stuff. Exciting times. Thanks for the consistent live streams. Thank you, Pixel. Appreciate you. We need more likes. Yes, like and share. Thanks, SoCal. SoCal is always good to make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe. Any worry that Devve will eventually migrate? No date set. Seems like price is holding pretty well with first token released today. Seems to be a good sign. Yeah, I mean, I don't worry about a migration. I heard people talking about it, like in the group chat today, like Telegram, that there might be a migration. I haven't heard anything definitive on that. I'm not worried about it. Many tokens go through migrations. Yeah, there was. So Devve will have every month. There's a lot of dilution on Devve, right? They released a small amount of the token supply. I think like 10% when it dropped. When it went public, only 10% was out. And every month there is heavy dilution. So we saw some volatility. And, my feeling on it, I think Devve is a good buy. Let me pull it up. $1.19. Still a new coin, right? This only came out a little over a month ago, maybe. It seemed like it wanted to break out. It retested the all-time high of $2. I thought there was a possibility of breakout here. Sold off. And I guess with the token release and those new tokens being vested, it caused it to, there was some sell pressure on it down to $1.21 at the moment, which I think is a good buy on Devve. Layer one ESG narrative. They're going after, government adoption and things like that. I expect it to do well. And, people were asking me if $1.40 was a good price, $1.60 was a good price. And I said that it was, and I still think that it is, because in a market like this, things can move fast, right? You might get, if Bitcoin goes sideways and goes range bound, you might see alts starting to run, right? Instead of Bitcoin breaking out past that all-time high, you could see Bitcoin go sideways and alts break out. So at this stage of the market, it's about getting my bags packed. And I'm not being overly picky on, prices. I'm not nitpicking prices. My plan is, accumulate, and you can afford to make a short-term mistake, right? So if you bought Devve at $1.50 or $1.60 or $1.40, and now it's down to $1.19, that's a short-term, move down. You'll be forgiven when the market goes up, because these things move fast. And I look at Tectum as an example, which is, a similar sector. And, Tectum was range bound. It was, it was going up and down. And in this, first it was in this, $6 to $4 range, $3. And then it, went up to $10, and it was range bound for a good 2 months. And then all at once, Tectum did like a 3X and went from $9, $10 to $45. And I experienced this because I bought it right down here before it made that major move. And so when I see something like Devve that I think is a good layer one, because layer ones can get up to big market caps, it's got a good narrative. They're going live with their mainnet in March. I'm accumulating, and my bags are now packed on Devve. And I'll bring up my chart just for reference. I think that something like Devve could easily be a $2 billion market cap, which would at this point be well over a 20x because it's $1.20. So let me make this bigger. There we go. And the way I make this chart, this is just me projecting out, taking into consideration dilution, right? Because there are going to be a lot more tokens in circulating supply for Devve and a bunch of these tokens a year from now. So I took that into account. And people ask me, what do I think something's going to go to? What price will something hit? Do I think it's going to hit? And the truth is, I have no idea. And anyone who's telling you that something is programmed and something is definitely going to a certain price, a certain market cap, they don't know what they're talking about, especially, with something that's relatively new like Devve, right? Some things have confirmation in the market. But it's impossible to say. And so my thinking is to think about different outcomes, different possible outcomes, what's possible. And in my mind, I just made this. The yellow is what I think is quite possible. The green is possible, but bullish. The blue would be really, really bullish. It's like a super bullish case outcome. Still possible, but hard to get to. And the red is, I don't think it's getting there. So I do this to prepare myself, because we often talk about, when do you sell? You can't sell something. You can't come up with a plan to sell if you don't have an idea of where it could possibly go. All right. So who knows where these things land, but that's my thinking. And, I think Devve could potentially do well. Let's see. Andrew says, I want to buy more Devve, but gas doesn't want to drop below 60 lately, which is too expensive. You should buy on Mcade. I'm not swapping anything on ETH. You know, unless it's like a large amount of money, it's just not worth it to buy something on ETH, right? To have to swap and pay those gas fees. But you can buy Devve on Mcade and use a VPN. Andrew loaded up on Bump and on Arbitrum. So much cheaper to buy there than ETH. Yeah. Buying things on Matic, etc. Much better. You can't see me. What's good? You can't see me. The DJ in me bought Taylor Swift's cat, Meredith. Let's go. So, funny story. I was in the, Ron's Telegram group, and Sugar Rush, I think that's his tag. Shout out Sugar Rush. 2 days ago, mentioned Taylor Swift's cat, Benji Coin. My daughter's a Swiftie, so I threw $100 at it, thinking, who knows? And just dumped now, but it did a 25x, in 2 days on Taylor Swift's cat, Benji token. All right, so crypto is wild. I spent dozens of hours analyzing fundamentals of projects, researching the team, checking, tokenomics, utility to squeeze out some X's on coins. I arbitrarily throw, $100 at Taylor Swift's cat token, Benji, and did a 25x in 2 days. That's crazy. I ended up selling it today, which I normally don't do. I never sell. I'm terrible at selling. But my friend convinced me. He said, when do you ever sell anything and do something with it? And he's right. For years, I've just been accumulating, and I suck at selling. So I took the profit. I turned the $100 to $2,500. Thank you, Sugar Rush. It'll now likely go parabolic some more. But only in crypto is this possible, right? And meme coins have been going nuts. Shiba Inu has been going nuts. Cock Inu has been doing well. Dog Whiff Hat is at like a $2 billion market cap. So I don't really wade in the meme coin waters, but it's good to catch one. So shout out to all my Swifties out there. Your boy hit on Taylor Swift's cat. But then that also then reminds you of how this space works, right? And how important pumpamentals are. We often talk about fundamentals. You can't neglect pumpamentals. That's what drives the market. And when I think about the stuff that I've been focusing on, it's all stuff that I think has good pumpamentals, right? Stuff that's in a sector that will pump. So AI, gaming, Bitcoin scaling, right? That has a narrative around it. Stuff that's on its first cycle, that's shiny and new, right? These are things with good pumpamentals. If it's named after, if it's named after Taylor Swift's cat, it's a bonus. Shout out to anyone making bank on meme coins. Andrew says dilution of token on Devve isn't horrible because buy-in from initial investors isn't that much cheaper than current price. So I think most will hold if they believe in the project. Yeah, I don't fear. I think that in a strong market, the price action will eat through the dilution. You saw like last cycle, coins like Gala Games comes to mind. It had a pretty aggressive unlock. And it's still, the chart still looked up and to the right, parabolic move up. So when the market's moving and when there's a lot of price action, it's going to eat through that dilution. So that's why that Devve dilution doesn't scare me, nor does it scare me when you talk about stuff like games for a living and Mania. A lot of these things have aggressive unlocks. Mania had like only 15% of tokens in circulating supply. It's still been strong. Still been a winner. If you bought this early, you're up a good at least a 7x, maybe a 10x or more. If you bought, super early back in 2023, you're up a lot, right? But it eats through the dilution. Games for a living is another one with a lot of dilution. I think it's going to eat through it. And I think that, again, we talk about patience. This is right here. Look at games for a living. And a lot of gaming projects, the charts look like this. Consolidation, range bound, taking a breather off of a big move. Some people taking profits, other people building out positions, but relatively holding strong, right? This support of 3 cents for games for a living has been strong. And so if these are projects that you believe in and they've been boring, envision where you think they're going, and then buy like they're there, or buy like they're going there. And again, that's also why I made this, to envision where I think things could go. And then that, puts a fire under my ass, so to speak, to make sure that I load up. Nice. Bump is moving for all those who are in it. Bump has been at like a 5 million market cap for a while. Glad to see it moving. I know a lot of people are holding it. I assume you don't have to KYC for Mcade. Yeah. Mo Collections in the house. What's good? Eli, where are you buying Masq and Medicaid if not swapping on MetaMask? So I did all my buying on Medicaid before things got crazy, before these gas fees were nuts. So I haven't bought Medicaid in a while because I was buying it at the penny, but I would have to swap it on MetaMask until it's on an accessible exchange, because Medicaid is not available. And that's also bullish for Medicaid. This isn't readily available. Let's look at, it's on BitGet if you have access there, Bitmart. I've been swapping in MetaMask when I bought it, but again, I loaded my bags before these ETH gas fees got crazy. In terms of Masq, you can swap. Masq is only available on DEXs, but the good thing is it's on Matic also, so it's super cheap to swap. It's on ETH and it's on Matic. So which do I think is a better buy? Let me get back to that question that I starred from Eli. I like both Medicaid and Masq. Medicaid just had a run up. So, I guess Masq is, let's pull up Masq. Masq is super cheap still. So Masq is only a $15 million market cap. It had a high of about 70 something cents. It's down almost about 50% off the high. I think they're both good buys. For the bull market, I think they're both good buys. But if you let's look at potential from where they are now. And Medicaid, if Medicaid were to hit, let's say a 20x, which I think is super feasible. But a 20x from here would be 2 cents times 20 is like 40 cents. So 20x from here would bring it to about a $600 million market cap. for Medicaid, a 20x for Masq would bring it to a $300 million market cap. I think with gaming as a hot narrative, I think Medicaid might be my first choice. Just because I think that it's got more pumpamentals, right? I like the narrative of gaming more. I love the fact that they added, the founder of GTA, Jamie King, on board. I think that's great pumpamentals and fundamentals, right? He'll help the project fundamentally, but at the same time, narrative alone, just having him associated with it is dope. I think there are other things that could help pump Medicaid, like Alex Becker, and Neo Tokyo official endorsement on the project. So I like the pumpamentals of Medicaid. I love the fundamentals of Masq, though, also. So I'm also a buyer of Masq at this price. I think Masq has a lot that they have. If you look at Masq, they're constantly partnering with different companies. They're not available on any centralized exchanges yet. I don't think they're in a rush to, because they're a privacy token. So decentralization is a cornerstone of who they are. It's part of their core value system, right? Love the project manager, Kari Hiro. I think that he's doing things for the right reason. He's building out a project first, so they have an actual project on Masq. They have actual utility. So I'm a buyer on both of them, Masq and Medicaid, but I think Medicaid probably has better pumpamentals at this price. But Masq is something, especially that it's on Matic network. If I'm looking to swap something, if I have a couple $100 and I'm not going to go swap something on ETH network, right? That's what sucks about ETH. If you're swapping something, you're putting $200 in something, but you're paying $60 in gas fees. That's what sucks about ETH. And Masq is on Matic, so pretty dope. Let's see what else we got here. Yeah, Mcade's on BitGet. Wow, no talk about Kaspa. Kaspa's a big cap, man. Kaspa's going to continue to do well. And if you got in early on Kaspa, you could have made millions, right? Depending on when you got in and all that. Kaspa could go to a top 20 coin. But it's at 16 cents. Where does it go from here? It's already got a market cap of 3 million. I can see Kaspa doing another potentially 10x, maybe even more. But they don't even have smart contracts out yet, right? But I do like Kaspa. Rio is one that I talked about. Rio is one that I've been buying. If you've been watching the channel since 11 cents, I've been buying Rio. So I'm up almost 10x on this now. I didn't buy my whole bag at 10 cents. I DCA'd from 10 to like 20 cents. $1.07 now. This is a real world asset, RWA. I wanted exposure to this sector. And Rio is what, if you look at like social metrics and you look on X and all that, Rio is one that always comes up whenever people talk about RWA, real world assets. And, all it's going to take, think about being in the height of alt season and Larry Fink, the CEO of BlackRock, again, coming out, talking about tokenization of everything, real world assets. It's going to send that market, right? That's what I envision happening at some point when things are pumping crazy. And I wanted exposure, and I got exposure through Rio. And when I think out, Mark Meyer's been asking, shout out to Mark, he's been asking me about Rio, where I think the price could go. So I added it to my list here. Currently a $55 million market cap, which is still cheap. it's done a 10x from where I bought it, but it's only a $55 million market cap. I think it's only going to have about 10% dilution over the next year. So I didn't even factor that in here. But it peaked at $4 last cycle, but I think it came out a little later in the cycle and it was just getting started. So I don't really consider it having a full cycle, right? Like a full-on bull cycle. But, a 10x or $500 million market cap, I think, is a base case, scenario for something like Rio, which would bring it to $10. But I think, $1 billion market cap is not out of the realm of, possibility for a real world asset coin, right? And you're talking about tokenization of the real estate. You're going to be talking about total addressable market, in the trillions, right? That's regardless of, we're not ready for that, right? Regulatory wise, technology wise, we're not there yet as a society, but it's crypto, right? And a lot of this stuff is story driven, narrative driven, speculatory. Is that a word? And so I can see something like that commanding a market cap in the billions. So when I think about Rio, I think 10 to 20 bucks is very reasonable. And I think within realm of possibility, it's something that could still do a 50x from where it is and go to $2.75 billion market cap. But again, time will tell. And I have no idea where these things are really going to end up. You don't know. You can't connect the dots until afterwards, right? I think that's something that Steve Jobs said. You can only connect the dots looking back, right? So everyone has the benefit of hindsight. The beauty of it is if you're spread out on some of these really small caps, these micro caps, and you've got your Medicaid bag and you've got your whatever, Palm AI or AGI, your NACA, your playable games, Rio, you don't need them all to hit. You don't need a bull case scenario on all of them if you've got a pretty decent amount. And so I added Rio to the list because my man Mark kept on bothering me about it, so I had to add it. And I'm going to get to OTK next. I know B-Dubs has been asking about that. And I want to get to PAL AI also. And that's one that I'm really interested in, is PAL AI. And if you've been following Palm AI has been nuts. And shout out to everyone. Shout out to Ron, first of all. On one of my streams, this has been nuts. Homie Ron, if you're not in the Telegram, I'm going to plug him. I'm in there helping out. I'm an admin in there. Ron's Telegram has found a bunch of good coins. One of them is Palm as soon as it came out. 4 cents, 5 cents. Before anyone was talking about it, he scans for new coins. He found Palm AI. I bought it down here. I paper-handed that thing, man, at like 20 cents or something. I got a good 4x out of it, man. But I never sell. I buy and hold for the bull run on 95% of my stuff. And the one I sold was Palm AI, which has gone on to go nuts. It's $1.27. So what is that, like a 40x in... Man, I think he was on my channel in January. It went through the migration. So it was pre-migration. All right, it was December when it first came out. Early December. And I don't know why, man. I should have held this one. But profit's profit. And you can't kick yourself for making mistakes. But it's a reminder to me not to sell too early, right? A lot of these things go up a lot higher than you expected, and they just ride a narrative. Palm AI is a Telegram bot. And I think it's pumping so much because they do a reward share thing, right? Where they distribute reward. So Altcoin Daily just covered it today, which explains that if you look at this pump right here, that's likely from Altcoin Daily, or from here actually. Yeah, because this is the daily. Let's go on the 7-day. It's not too much. Yeah, but Altcoin Daily just covered it recently. But they're not talking about these things when they're coming out because those bigger channels are scared, and rightfully so, right? Because a lot of these things go to some, we had one go to zero, OZK, which I'll talk about in a little while. Things can go to zero. It's crypto, it's volatile, and you're playing in the most, when you're getting at, you're buying things that are $1 million market cap, $5 million market cap. These things are highly volatile, right? But in crypto, great in anything really, greater the risk, greater the reward oftentimes. And Palm AI has been printing. So I sold too early on this. Lesson learned. It's all good. Profit is profit. But it's got me looking at what else in this AI sector could do something similar. And Paladin, is another one that was found in the Telegram that Ron brought out in the Telegram that is down right now in the lower end of its range. But this, I'm still up about a 4x on this. Even after this, I think it dumped today. And this is the lower part of a range. So if anyone's interested in Paladin, it's been ranging. And this is the lower part of the range. And it ranges between, this 7-cent level to about 10 cents, just under 10 cents. That's its previous all-time high. New token, relatively new. I think it's been around for a month or 2 months or 3 months or whatever it is. It is an AI auditing technology. They produce audits on coins to tell you how risky they are. They spit out information super quick and print out PDFs or something, and they aggregate information. It's usable on Telegram, so we actually use it in our Telegram group to bring out information on coins, right? You type in the token address, and the Paladin app bot, the Paladin bot, gives you information on the token instantly, right? And that's what it does, Paladin AI. Now, they are getting things done. Here's a recap, their most recent recap. I'll go through the highlights. They're upgrading to volume version 1.5. Which is enabling their AI to identify new vulnerabilities in coins. I'm going to explain why this is important in a second. They implemented a new extensive library of specific vulnerability signatures. So if you run something through Pal AI, it will tell you if the coin is potentially a rug. They're integrating now with social media to pump out information on socials about, different coins, social metrics. Let me see. And that's version 2 of Pal AI coming. That's going to interpret social data, enabling a broader and more nuanced understanding of the projects we analyzed. Now, why is that important? Why is this an important tool? If you look at OZK, which is something that I had bought because the project looked good and the team looked like they were doing good things, but the team rugged. This was in a privacy like BRC20 narrative. The team wasn't doxxed, but it was a privacy coin, so maybe that didn't seem too, fishy. The coin had pumped well. It was doing well. But then the team started getting fishy with their communication, right? In their Telegram. They weren't answering. People were getting frustrated. And then they had announced a token migration. At that point, I sold because there were some red flags there with the communication, with, again, I don't want to go through the hassle of a token migration, but what they did was they pumped the price. They migrated and sent out their address. And this was at like, I think a $5 or $6 million market cap at the time. And then they dumped. They took the money and ran. And so small caps and micro caps are dangerous, right? And we talk about the risk in crypto. The risk is zero. We had last cycle Terra Luna, which was, a widely bought coin, the top, I don't know what it was, went top 20, whatever it went to, very big market cap. People knew like risks associated, went to zero. It's crypto. Things go to zero. That's why if you're playing in micro caps, you have to diversify. You can't take outsized risks, or if you do, you need to know the risk. If you're putting a lot of money into a micro cap, specifically one that the team is not really well doxed. Like if I'm buying games for a living and the founder of EA Sports is on board, I have reasonable assurance that that team is going to come through, right? But if you're buying a micro cap and the team is not doxed or whatever it is, the risk is zero. But now go back to PAL AI, and they actually identified vulnerabilities in OZK prior to the rug. Right? If you pumped OZK in there, it told you what the vulnerabilities were, like the backdoor, whatever they said. They said that there's a chance that this is a rug. And that's the use case of Paladin, right? So when I think about what could do like a palm and go to $100 million market cap in this AI sector off a small market cap, Paladin is only $7.8 million still, even though it's still up a good, 300% or so, 400% of what from where I bought it. And people who bought it in the, some people bought it in the hundreds of thousands, right? But PAL AI is one that I think could see some traction. Now, the thing is that it's not on any exchanges, and it's on ETH, which sucks. So you can only get it on a DEX. I bought mine in Uniswap. So that sucks. But if PAL AI ends up on Mcade and on some other exchanges, I can see it potentially doing well, again, because of Pumpamentals, because it's an AI token. It integrates into Telegram, etc. Or it'll go to zero, right? Because remember, it's crypto. And you got to be mindful of all outcomes and anticipate them. But I like PAL AI. Other than OPSEC doing great for me, LAI has been outperforming PAL AI in my portfolio over the last weeks. And I think part of this also, and I'm not familiar with LAI, is an accessibility issue with PAL AI, is that it's only on Uniswap. And with gas fees being high, I'm not going to buy $200 worth of PAL AI, right? Because what am I paying $60 in ETH gas fees and $200 for the token? So I'm hoping that they get on some exchanges, and that'll open up doors to volume and money coming in. And I think that it'll do well, but I want to be positioned before that. So I'm already positioned because I got in early, but no talk about AI tech. Love AI tech. And AI tech has been range bound. And AI tech is one of those that I think is going to move. I look at AGI, and AGI is something that I kick myself for not buying, but I'm not too hard on myself because you can't catch them all, right? You can't be too hard on yourself. This is something that G Money knows. G Money was telling me to buy this, and I was like, yeah, G Money. I'm going to, it's on my watch list. I like it. But I didn't buy it for whatever reason. In hindsight, I wish I bought it. now sitting at a $200 million, over $200 million market cap. And this is, AI meets gaming. So shout out to everyone in AGI. Look at this chart, still going up. But it was range bound for a while, right? This is, zoom out. This is not long ago. This is January and February. So when I say that things move gradually and then all at once, this is a prime example of that. This is a gradual move up for AGI. It did a 2 or 3x, felt good to whoever held it. This was in December. That was in the first, that little alt season that we had when gaming was running hard and AI started moving. And then from December, right before Christmas, through February, the middle of February, it was range bound. 2 months that people had to accumulate, right? And then all at once, this did a good, 7x from 5 cents to 35 cents in a short amount of time. And that's what crypto does. It's volatile. Take advantage of the volatility, right? I try to buy in these boring phases when it's when you need the patience, and people say, is it still a good buy? Right? That's a question that you often get asked. Is it still a good buy? We were getting that from Medicaid when Medicaid was a penny, and just Medicaid was a penny. It was like a stable coin for like 3 months. Is it still a good buy? But then people get conviction when the market confirms it, right? And then all at once, things pop. And AI tech is one that I think is fundamentally sound. Had a nice move up. So this one moved. The difference between this and AGI is it moved after, its first move was after AGI's. So AGI peaked around the 23rd and then went sideways for 2 months. But after AGI peaked, money flowed into AI tech, and AI tech did a 4x all at once. Went sideways from January 8th through again mid-February, and hasn't had that explosive move up that AGI had, but it's doubled. It did a double up, and now it's range bound. My expectation for AI tech is that it's going to do what AGI did. I think it'll do a good 4-5x at some point, and etc. But I like AI tech, and I've covered it a bunch of times because it's a launch pad for tokens. It's they export computing power, so that's a real legitimate need. They are a software as a service, artificial intelligence as a service program, blockchain as a service, multiple utility cases, and every transaction burns the token. And if you've just been waiting here, if you didn't get in like down here and you've been buying it, and it's maybe you bought it up here at 15 cents and you're down on it, it feels boring. I've been adding. I've added here pretty aggressively with the benefit of my hindsight on AGI. It put a fire under my ass to say, what other AI token could pull this off? Now, will it? Who knows, right? Maybe it goes to zero like OZK. I don't think that's going to happen. But in my mind, I'm prepared for that, right? I am prepared to be wrong on any of these coins. But you need to make a bet. You need to have foresight and think, what could be the next AGI? What could be the next FET? What could be the next whatever? And look for signs and look for fundamentals and look for signals. And I think AI tech is one of them. And let me see, I think AI tech, they're always announcing like new partnerships. Here we go, weekly snapshot. So they were audited. All right, they were audited and they passed their audit, which is very solid. I don't think they're a rug. They have $20 million total value locked, over 17,000 on-chain holders. Another token, Polina, launching on their launch pad. Well, they hit an all-time high of 18 cents. It wasn't 15 cents. AI Tech has recorded over 700,000 transactions. So, this is my play for the AI. My big play for the AI sector is AI Tech. Let's see what happens. Let me jump back into the chat. Still much more I want to talk about. I want to get to some OMI. I want to get to what else? Maybe some Tectum and whatever else is on my notes list. Still early for Caspa. No tier 1 listings yet. Yeah, this is true. And that's the thing, that there are a lot of catalysts ahead for all of these coins. Many of these things are not on exchanges yet, right? Like Genuine points out, Caspa is not on a major exchange. Mcade is barely listed anywhere. And again, I'll be having Russ Mcade on the channel for an interview Monday, 3:30 p.m. Eastern time, to get an in-depth, to ask some questions about Medicaid and what they're doing over there. Tokenized assets will be big for next bull run. Yes, agree. What's a good wallet? Are you talking about, I guess he answered that, Tangent wallet. I'm not sure if you're talking about private wallets, etc. Speaking of OTK, does anyone know where the token release schedule is for this bull run? Eli, that's next on my list. I haven't looked at it yet. And I have heard the same thing about OTK. Let's see what else. Chris Infinity in the house. Are you into Looter? Just launched 400K market cap. I am not. Yeah, Pal AI called the OZK rug. I can sleep good at night holding Caspa. Yeah, Caspa's now it's a big cap, but that's a solid one, man. Most of these cryptos are scams. Lost $100 on OZK. That's not that bad. That's worth it. $100 for that, for a lesson, is not bad. Sounds like OMI's trajectory. I don't think that's OMI's trajectory. I'll talk about OMI in a second. What do you think about Game GPT, AI and gaming sector? I'm not very familiar with it. 100x on Medicaid, inevitable. Let's take a look. Is it inevitable from here? So 100x on Medicaid from here would put it at $2. Right? Yeah, $2. It's possible. It's still possible to get to like a $3 billion market cap on Medicaid. I wouldn't say it's inevitable, though. But I think it's possible for sure, and I hope that it hits. AIT protocol. Yeah. That's funny, man. I can't even say this out loud. That's funny. I'm going to have to buy some. That's super funny. Sugar Rush, here he is. Was talking about you later, homie. Just shouted Danny the Beast. That's funny. They referenced me as Danny the Beast in the Medicaid Telegram group. That's funny. So now it's kind of stuck in Ron's Telegram. The Sugar Rush, man. Thank you for the Taylor Swift coin. Made a good 2,500 out of that. That's funny. But let's talk about. We'll look at OMI and talk about that a little bit, because I know a lot of people here, I'm sure, hold OMI. And OMI has been range bound and creeping up, trying to, again, get back to this local top. And if it can break through, you'll be looking at a 002 OMI, I think, rather quickly. Now, when you talk about OMI, I think we're going to get OMI to NFT in the next few months. I think that's next. Foster tweeted it out on X. It looks like we're getting the Bybit exchange, but I think the wind was taken out of that sale by the Bitforex thing. So, I think OMI is, if you look at it, is still, it's up. It's over the last month, it's up 40%, which is solid. And it's up 100% off of its cycle low, right, of 0005. But if you look at OMI, it's still lagging the market, right? And I mean, like, if you compare it to, I'm just going to pick some random coins. Compare it to other things. Here's Polkadot, $3.65 bottom for this cycle. It's up over 200%, right? If you look at, I mean, Chainlink, we know has performed better. Let's look at, and these are top coins, but I'm going to look at a bunch. Cosmos is up a little over 100% off its bottom. Let's look at Sand, because that's often compared. Ooh. Sandbox from 28 cents is up about 150%. So it's lagging a little, OMI, but not terrible. And I think that OMI can make a big move up pretty fast. We'll see. I do think that OMI will have like some positive catalysts this, over the next few months. The thing with OMI is, when I talked about this a lot over the last few months, and this goes back to Taylor Swift's cat coin, right? Pumpamentals versus fundamentals. OMI is going to be fundamentally stronger this cycle than it was last cycle. It's got some utility right now. It will have more utility, right? If they get the bronze tickets out, if they get OMI to NFT out, it's going to have a lot more utility. If they get a couple of exchanges, it'll have more exchanges, but it doesn't have the pumpamentals of a first cycle in a hot sector, right? That NFT sector was huge last cycle. Plus they had Logan Paul. So last cycle, OMI had pumpamentals. This cycle, it's going to have stronger fundamentals. So we'll see what happens there. I'm hoping that OMI can break through all previous all-time highs, but my expectation is spread out. Captain Sugar Rush said, no problem. I did 100x looking for the next one now. Nice. 100x on a cat coin. Only in crypto. I did a 25x on the coin, and I had seller's remorse. Afterwards, I was like, what did I just do, man? I should have held. But my daughter's a Swiftie. I told her, I put $100 in, and I told her this goes up, that I'll give her a portion of it. She wanted me to sell. We did a 25x in 2 days. So I'm going to take her to the store and buy her some toys. She'll go on a little shopping spree. On Taylor Swift's cat's dime. Nice. Well, that'll be the idea, is that you can sell NFTs to OMI. Mcade needs Binance or Coinbase to get to a 1 billion plus. That's a good point. And I wonder how Coinbase is going to move this cycle in terms of their listings. My expectation is that Coinbase is going to list less coins because of the overhang of the SEC case, unless that's dismissed, which is also possible, right? If that's dismissed, then I think it's off to the races. But if you look at, and Binance will list anything still, I think. But if you look at coins like Gala, Sandbox, Mana, that pulled off those billion-dollar market caps last cycle, they are on Binance. They're on Coinbase. They're widely accessible to people because at the end of the day, when retail comes in, they really push these prices high. And what is retail like? Where does retail go? Retail isn't going to they're not swapping in MetaMask. When my brother texted me a couple weeks ago, he said, "What's good that I can buy on Coinbase?" You know, should I buy Shiba? And I was like, nothing, man. But Shiba turns out would have been a good buy. That's where normies go. They're not going to swap. They're not going to all the extra steps. And so that's why it's important to get listed on those big exchanges. I'm curious what's going to happen this cycle with Coinbase and, you know, what they do in terms of listing things. It's great about your daughter. It's always good to practice selling. Yeah. And oftentimes, like, I'll get gains on these shit coins and then they'll go to zero. You know, and only in crypto can you get a 25x and not be satisfied. Any other place, you know, in 2 days, a 25x in 2 days, right? And think you just made a mistake selling. But that's crypto. It's the beauty of it and the craziness of it. But it is good to sell sometimes, like Sugar Rush said. And that, you know, Ron said this last time I was streaming with him. You know, it's good to just practice selling, get used to it. And yeah. All in on Grok also. I don't really mess around with meme coins. Every once in a while, I'll dabble on that just degen stuff and I'll throw $100 at something like I did there. But Kakinu is the one that I'm holding and it's done well. And meme coins are just ripping. Like, look at what is it? Dog whiff hat. Which is ridiculous. What the hell is a whiff hat? $1.7 billion market cap. Dog whiff hat. It's crazy. Look at the price, you know, a month ago. It did almost a 10x out of nowhere. So again, things move gradually or do nothing, and then all of a sudden there are violent moves up and to the right. And when alt season happens, you're going to see a lot of coins doing this up and to the right. A lot of the stuff that we're holding, they're going to do 3x's, 4x's, 5x's in a short period of time. And typically, it's after Bitcoin starts running. So get ready. You know, I find that it's sometimes more stressful when things are pumping, right? I get wired when my portfolio is running up to like big numbers and hitting new all-time highs. It can be anxiety inducing because then you think about when do you sell and things like this. So always have a plan and be ready because we're going to get some good stuff going. Getting 2 to 3 exchanges in Omid NFT will bring it to 003 to 004. Yeah. And I think for Omi, I know like Crypto Rain put out again a tweet about $100 billion market cap. That's not happening. You know, but I think a $3 billion market cap would put it at, would give it about a 10x from here. And that's a penny. And I think a lot of people have base or, you know, realistic expectations, but a lot of people don't understand like how difficult it is to cut through strong resistance, right? And Omi has a lot of it to get through. Let me see if I can pull it up on CoinGecko. Here we go. Omi's got a lot of bag holders, a lot of people with a lot of Omi that they've been holding for years. They're going to look to take profits, and you've got all these levels of resistance ahead of it, right? So it's going to have to like bump up against these things and break through. 005 is one. 003, 002, 008 is going to be a big one. You know, we did like a triple top on it last cycle. So last cycle, OMI went to over a penny in March of 2021. This was off of Logan Paul hype. All right, it did this parabolic move. Logan Paul hype, NFT hype, completely dumped. Built back up. The fundamentals were stronger here. Okay? It was fundamentally stronger. They had Marvel, they had, you know, Disney in November. And there was expectation of VVverse and all these things, right? So fundamentally, it was stronger here, and there was still some juice left in the market, particularly over here. I think market topped out around December or so. December, January, alts topped out. So it had some juice left and time left in October, but it couldn't get over that hump. I think it's not going to be, you know, it's not going to just blow past it. There's going to be resistance. There are bag holders, people with a lot of OMI who are going to be selling and taking profits as they should. And so I only say that to give a balanced perspective. Be ready for it. If you're expecting, you know, a second cycle coin to just run through every level of resistance, you need to be prepared. Because if you're prepared, you can make a plan and you can have a real expectation. Because if your expectation is that, you know, $100 billion market cap, which is not happening, I'll put that at less than 1%. You know, I'm not going to say zero but it's zero. I'll say zero. I'm going to say 0% chance that happens this cycle. But if that's your expectation that it's going to 40 cents, you're going to hold too long. And there's a danger in that, right? Because you're not going to sell at the right time. You're not going to take profits at the right time. So again, I think you can come up with your own expectations for all of your stuff. I think it's important to do so. Nice. Made a good couple of 5Xs on Trump MAGA coin. That's been printing. MAGA coin. Some people in Ron's Telegram have been on that and have done well. Very solid. General 69, Crypto Rain. Oh, yeah. I mean, I like Crypto Rain. I respect him. He's made a lot of money. He's been very successful. I just totally disagree with that, which is fine. We can agree to disagree, right? Kathy Wood has called for $1.5 million Bitcoin by the end of the decade. Who knows? But she's put out very like overly bullish calls too. Kathy Woods brought over 76,000 shares of SoFi, which 9 calls, which the dip is a deal of these prices. Nice. Genuine sold my OMI for Caspa last year. Made my losses back. Nice. Happy for anyone making money. I don't get mad. I don't get mad for anyone selling anything. And I think that's a mindset that you can't. A lot of this crypto is tribal and, you know, community driven, and people call people fudders if they think that a coin is, you know, if someone says, I don't think it's going to that price, they'll call you a fudder. Or if they say like, you know, I sold, they'll call you a fudder. They're just coins at the end of the day. They pump and they dump. They've done it every 4 years. They pump and then they dump 95%. So if you're not extracting money from the market, you're doing it wrong. And it's better to sell too early than to not sell at all, right? But my plan is to not sell too early, but not sell too late, and layer out, take profits, make a lot of money. Depending on time frame, I'll probably start selling OMI at 008. Yeah. And I think that's what Andrew brings up is also a good point, depending on time frame. Right? Historically speaking, the market tops about 10 months after a Bitcoin all-time high, breaks previous all-time high, right? So if Bitcoin breaks through previous all-time high, like Bitcoin breaks through 69K tomorrow, if history repeats itself, it's topping out end of this year. Now, if we are in October, November of this year, Bitcoin's at $120,000, alts are popping off, OMI is at 0.005, I would be selling. The same for any coin. If Medicaid, if it's October of this year and I've made a lot of money, Bitcoin's at 120,000, alts are running, Medicaid is 25 cents, 30 cents, 40 cents, whatever it is, I'm selling aggressively at that stage, more than likely, right? Because historically speaking, you know what happens. You can't see the top of the market until you're looking back, right? And so it's impossible to time. At that point, hopefully things work out. We'll see what happens. I listened to HPE earnings call last week, which the company talked about AI and the business. Yeah. And NVIDIA is a large driver of this AI thing. NVIDIA is at a $2 trillion market cap, largely off of demand for chips and AI. And it's really accelerated even in like this last leg up in crypto, right? Was correlated with NVIDIA's latest earnings call. And so this AI, bubble is not going anywhere. The narrative isn't going anywhere. I think I think it'll go through ebbs and flows and, have its times when it's boring and it sells off and then gaming takes off, et cetera. All these other sectors pop off. But I think that AI as a narrative is going to be here this cycle. Yeah. Let's see. Tectum, I think, is still strong. And Tectum is one that has been consolidating and really holding that $30 price strong. So if you're someone who likes Tectum, I have my bag is packed on TET. I added my last bid at about $29 whenever, about 2 weeks ago, whatever, just to like have a round number of my bag. But I think Tectum's going to do well. Their soft note wallet metrics, 1.15 million TET locked, TVL hits 37 million, 58,000 soft note users. And soft note is their own unique technology for accelerating like Bitcoin. I'm just going to go through my bookmarked tweets here. Medicaid, new partnership announced. This is what I like about Medicaid. They're constantly announcing new partnerships, new games being integrated. They've got their tournaments rolling out soon. They've got their marketing ratcheting up. And I would love to see some nice exchanges for Medicaid. So I'll float that question to Russ on Monday for all the Medicators here. I'm going to ask them about exchanges and token accessibility. And a lot of project managers don't like talking about this stuff, and they can't always say, but I'm going to ask anyway. Can't hurt. What else we got? Well, this is the tweet talking about Pal AI could have saved everyone from the OZK rug pull. So this was, if you plugged OZK into the Pal AI bot, its safety status, its score was 0 out of 10. And it stated, it spit this out, from my comprehensive audit, it's clear that this token poses significant investment risks. This rating signals that a scam has occurred or is likely imminent. As Paladin AI, I strongly advise against investing in this token. Your safety is paramount, and it's crucial to always verify the security and legitimacy of any investment. So there it is. That's the use case of Pal AI. And if you're on Telegram, you can integrate it in there and use the bot. Good stuff. What else we got here? Oh, this is Tectum, was just listed on Gate.io. And again, we're going to see more listings. Like Tectum is one that would not surprise me to get on Coinbase and Binance. Right? Tectum is that type of play. Layer 1, Bitcoin accelerator, scaling solution for Bitcoin. And I can see Tectum going into the billions. Currently at $30. You see, that's been a strong level of support. It's been hovering there. It settled there after its big pump up. I think it wicked up to like $48. Did a big run up. Sold off. And it's been holding this range pretty strongly. So something like Tectum, if we get an alt rally soon, I can see this going to $100 soon. So what else we got here? I already went through this. Here's Playable Games. They continue to do their thing and get more. You know, their social metrics are improving, and I like their branding. They're going for it. They, they'll talk about the token. They'll talk about Bitcoin and its effect on alts and things like that. And I like that they're going for it. I like their branding. I love their sector, and to me, it's at a good price. Playable Games has been on sale. Again, after a really big run-up, it's consolidated. A lot of people ask me what I think is a good buy, and it's really the stuff that I've been buying. Right? I'm not constantly looking for new stuff. This is a $43 million market cap, still pretty cheap. And now this is kind of where Medicaid is. Medicaid is now in the same ballpark. I think slightly cheaper than Playable, but Medicaid's not going to have the dilution. So good stuff from Playable Games. And again, it's going to do this. It's going to be range bound until it's not. And a lot of these coins are going to start taking off at some point soon. Hello, this is an interesting one for Hello Labs. This one dumped hard, man. Hello Labs dumped like 60% or so, and it's now been recovering, and I've held it. I think there's a chance that, my initial thesis on this has not changed. I think that they'll do well. And now they're introducing a burning mechanism into the ecosystem. So they're changing the tokenomics to make it deflationary. They'll be burning tokens. Altcoin Daily I didn't see it, but they also included Hello in one of their videos. And again, they're on the show, which is debuting in March. And it was, I think, the day before Bitcoin dumped. Altcoin Daily mentioned it, and there was a big spike, like a 15%, 20% spike to almost 9 cents. Market dumped. It dumped off. It's been consolidating now at this level. It's only a $40 million market cap. And I think that they have an opportunity. When I think about what they could do with in their lane and with the people attached to it, like I can see mid bull cycle, they're already planning Killer Whale season 2. I can see mid-cycle them introducing, or at the height of the cycle, introducing the panel for season 2. And imagine it's like Alex Becker or, Tate, Andrew Tate, or whoever, what it could do to the price. These are the pumpamentals that Hello has. When I bought Hello, it wasn't for the fundamentals. The tokenomics sucked. The token utility sucked. They're working on that now. But the token utility was like, you can watch the show early, whatever. The pumpamentals were altcoin dailies on the show, Mario Nawfal's on the show. And I think that there's a lot of juice in the pumpamentals. Again, because now imagine like there are, imagine like a concert or like some entertainment live event and it's token gated by Hello, right? These are the things that this is the space they're in and the narrative that they're attached to. And I think that's an easy one for people to understand. So we're going to see how it does. But my long-term perspective on Hello has not changed. QANX, my hidden gem, no YouTuber talking about. I will note that. What's going on with playable games? So if you're talking about token price, I think it's just natural. Look, if you look at playable games, it did a huge run up, right? From 0005 to a penny. So that's like a 200x, right? If my math is correct, that's a 200x in like 2 months. That's crazy. If someone was holding a decent bag of playable games, they did a 200x in 2 months. And so there was profit taking. And because the move up was so violent and big, you had a violent move down, right? Where it went down almost 60% at its local bottom. But it's since stabilized, it's been range bound and consolidating, and it's still only a $40 million market cap in a sector that is going to be hot again. And so it's been, relatively range bound. I like playable games. I think it's going to do well. I think people are sleeping on it now because people will be, convicted on something when it's moving up, on its way up. People are going to be convicted and they're going to want to buy. It's just psychology. When something is like range bound or down, the same fundamentals exist. It's in the same sector. It's got the same founder, same utility, same game. It's just the price is different. Right? But I envision a time when the gaming sector is going to get hot again. I think it's going to happen. Right? I think most people expect that to happen. And that's when I think this is going to take off again, along with the other gaming plays. Super cycle portfolio building now. Pays to be ahead. Yeah, for sure. Sticking to my plan. No memes, no short plays. Yeah. And again, I love what Forbes is saying. Sticking to his plan. No memes. And that's, you have to have a plan. I generally don't mess around with the meme coins. I do it for fun sometimes, but I don't, I said before, I don't chase every new coin and I miss out on things. But what I do have is strong positions in the coins that I have confidence in and conviction in. And, I might miss out on some 10Xs, but if I get, I might mix out on a 100X. But if I get a 20X on a coin that I'm stacked up on because I have conviction in, the portfolio will perform the same, right? Because you're not going to hit on everything that when you're spreading out. right? To all these coins that don't all hit. Anyway, point is, you have to have a plan, stick to it. Love what Forbes is saying. Ethan, if you had to choose only one, would you pick Tectum or Devve for greater gains? Only one. It's a nuanced question, man. So here's the thing. I think that Tectum is a safer play. Tectum is safer because it's been confirmed by the market. I think that Devve has a little more upside, right? But it's not as safe. So if I had to choose one to hold, I'd probably choose Tectum because I consider it safer. Like I'm just confident in it based on the market, how the market is taken to it. I love the narrative of it and the sector, and I think that it can potentially still do I think it can do a 20x. I think it can do a 50x. I think it can hit a a $10 billion market cap. Right? But I've got a lot of Devve also. I think Devve has greater potential upside, right? Like a 20x for Devve would bring it to less than a $2 billion market cap now. Whereas a 20x for Tectum would bring it to a $4 billion market cap. So all things considered, if they got to the same market cap, Devve would produce a greater return, right? So it's nuanced. If I had to choose one, I would go with Tectum, just because of the safety and still great potential. I hate when you say you got to choose one, Ethan. You're putting my back against the wall. What's more likely to happen first? Tectum reaches a $10 billion market cap or Mcade? It's a good question. It's a really good question. Let's see. Mcade at 1 billion from here would be like a 50x, right? Because the price has changed. And Tectum would also be a 50x from here. Damn. Ethan's got some good questions tonight, man. I don't know the answer to that. If I had to choose, damn, I don't know. I'll go Mcade. But the truth is, I have zero idea. Right? And I hope they both happen. Layer 1 quantum cryptography blockchain, docs developer, gem for sure. Thanks for that. I'm writing it down, and maybe I'll buy it. Ether Cloud and Bloodloop. Going to be huge. Don't sleep. I bought Bloodloop. I got in on the pre-sale for Bloodloop. So I'll be holding when that's released. I should have went harder. SoFi Technologies. Got it. Do you think Bitcoin going to have a correction starting Friday or Monday? Why starting Friday or Monday? Is there data being released? I think it just had a correction. So my guess is it's going to brush up against let me pull it up. My guess is it's going to brush up against 69K again, get rejected again, come down to possibly a higher low, right? So not come down. I don't think it'll come down this far. Maybe hit like 64, 65K before it pushes up again and breaks through. I mean, it just had a 15% crash. So my expectation isn't that it's going to do it again. Maintaining one's ego is almost just as important as how much you cash out. 100%. It's going to be hard cashing out too. 100% ego is super. Psychology is the biggest thing, right? When I tell you that, for me, I get stressed out more when the market starts running because then, it's becoming real. And then you think about cashing out, protecting your gains, etc., coming up with a plan. And so you have to have a mindset. You have to have a plan. You can't have an ego. You have to be willing to be wrong. Okay? No one knows what's going to happen. And anyone who says they do, I don't trust them. If someone is saying for sure they know what's going to happen on a coin with, certainty that's going to get to this market cap, I automatically from there discount everything they say, right? Especially if it's like a small cap, because no one knows. There are a whole range of outcomes. Yeah. I think psychologically speaking, this market can destroy you. Yeah, you have to be strong. Cashing out this time around, easy for me, lessons learned. Yeah, and that's the thing. Your first cycle is for learning. Your second cycle is for earning, right? You take with you what you learned from the last cycle and you got to apply it. And the point of this whole thing is to extract money from the market, right? And sell. And so, again, I'm not selling too early, but when these things start moving and going crazy and there's euphoria in the air, time to scale out. But we got some time. And we've spent some time here. We still got 66 people up in here. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Yeah. Let me see if there's anything else. I bookmarked these things. Oh, here. So Devve is going to have, I think they have an AMA on Twitter Spaces on Monday. So I'm going to be going there for sure to check that out. Devve. Oh, this was from my last stream. Alan Rogers is all over Devve now. And I look at that also, like the big influencers pushing something, because that stuff a lot of this stuff is about exposure, right? I like to see that. So I like to see Alan Rogers talking about Devve. I like to see Ron from Crypto Banter talking about Devve, etc. Any ideas of what Sol could hit this cycle? Yeah, so I've looked at Sol. I still have a good Sol bag. I started scaling out to put into potential 50, 100 Xers. Let me pull up the chart and I'll tell you my base and bull case for Solana. So Solana's been confirmed this cycle, right? A lot of people were worried. Coming into this cycle, I questioned if it would get back to that all-time high. Now I'm confident it's going to break through there, right? So I think Solana breaks through the previous all-time high. I think $400 to $500 is my target on Solana. And I say that because that would bring it to about a $200 billion market cap, right? And my thinking is if Ethereum goes to 7,500 to 10,000, that'll put it at a trillion, a little over $1 trillion. And I think Solana will make up 20% of ETH's market cap. That's where it was, I think, at the height of its last cycle. So that's my thinking on Solana. $400 to $500. Outside, a super bull case would be about $700 to $750. I think it's conceivable. I will have sold by then all my Solana. I stacked Sol a lot. That was the best thing that I did in the bear market. People were saying it was going to zero. I was buying it up from $8 to $25. And when I say you'll forgive yourself Like if I bought Devve at $1.60, it's $1.20. A lot of people beat themselves up over that stuff. You'll forgive yourself. I forgave myself for buying Solana at $25, even though it went to $18 again after. Right? But I just accumulated. Now I forgive myself. I don't care because I built out that bag at great prices. And, from that cycle bottom, I more than 10x'd where I was. And I'm still holding a good amount of SOL. And my plan for SOL is to use it as liquidity. Genuine mentioned that coin. If I like it a lot and it makes sense to me, maybe I'll sell a little SOL and put it in there because, at this point, I see SOL as having a 3x, maybe a 5x, right? So I'm using it as liquidity and laddering up I'm laddering out of that and laddering up, hopefully, into something small to make use of that money. But Solana's treated me very well. And it's put me in a good position where I was able to accumulate stuff because I sold half of my SOL bag. I sold it, but I bought things like PAL AI, and I did a 4x on PAL already, right? So I took maybe 10 or 20 SOL, maybe 20 SOL after it was $100, put it in PAL AI, and that's done a 4x. And now I have a big bag of PAL AI, still at a $9 million market cap. And that's kind of how I'm playing things. And I'm going to continue to do that. If Tectum hits $300, right? And I think maybe it has a chance to get to 1,000, but a new coin pops up that I think could 20x, I'm going to be taking some of that Tectum bag and I'm going to be using it as liquidity to buy something else and ride it up, right? And so if you're well positioned now, you're going to have those opportunities because things are going to happen. I think it was Sand that didn't debut until middle of the bull market last cycle. You're going to have hot new coins come out mid-cycle, right? Matic was new last cycle. You're going to have all these new things come out. All these new projects are going to launch to take advantage of the hype and the euphoria. And they're going to start from these low market caps and zoom up. And so it's going to be fun. Danny, one of the main things I've learned from you is to never ignore any coins when someone recommends them. Just write it down. Thanks, Ethan. Yeah. And, a lot of times I pass up on things. Sometimes I pass up on things and I kick myself after. But sometimes I'll catch it, right? And when you catch one, don't sleep on things. There are over 20,000 coins out there. Some of these things moon that I never heard of, right? And that's okay because I also say you can't catch them all. And it's important to take that to heart. We always it's natural to see someone else's bag like 20x and feel like that, jealousy and FOMO. Just build out positions in good coins and you're going to get your gains, right? If you pick good stuff and the market does what it's supposed to do, what we expect it to do, and your coin has some good pumpamentals, eventually it'll do it, right? And so you can't catch them all. But yeah, for sure, I try not to ignore, and sometimes I do, but try to look things up. I'm definitely going to look that up, Genuine. It only takes about 5 minutes to figure out if it's a worthless project or not. Yep. Could discover a gem. What is your all-time high for Bitcoin? Yeah. So I think Bitcoin breaks 100,000. I think my base case is about 100,000. Bull case would be like 120 to 150. I don't think it goes beyond that. It's conceivable. Right? I'm not sure. I don't think it'll get to 150. I think 100 to 120 is my thinking. And people will throw out numbers like 150, 200 and be convinced of it. Just like last cycle, they were convinced. I was convinced of 100,000 last cycle. I thought we were getting there. We came in for that double top, and I thought we would go higher. I thought we would sink in that six figures, but it didn't happen. So I think 100 to 120 is my thinking. Bump is my play with the biggest upside potential. Nice. Stacks, yeah. Stacks is a good one. And I think Stacks is at like a $2 billion market cap. But it's a Bitcoin scaling solution. If Bump does good, I'm rich AF. Yeah, nice. And that's the thing. If you're positioned decently in a bunch of coins, like I don't need them all. I don't need the bull case on every single coin. If I hit a bull case on like Tectum, I'm good. If I had a bull case on Medicaid, I'm good. If I had a bull case on Masq, I'm good. So it's going to be fun. I'm investing in projects in fields that aren't saturated. Yeah, good idea. That's a good one. Thanks. Yeah, it was a good one, man. Buying Sol. And it wasn't easy buying Sol at $8 because the known influencers were calling. BitBoy was saying it was going to zero. BitBoy's BitBoy, but Wendy O, who I don't watch anyway, but she was saying it's going. She said, I remember because I was scouring because I already had a decent bag of Solana. And when it went to $8, it was scary because you think, is this like going to go to zero? Is this going to crush it? And so I was scouring content to reassure myself. And then Wendy O was like, I'm not buying at $8. It's going to go to $3. And that was the next target. Everyone was saying $3 Solana. But I couldn't pass up $8. So I bought. And Omar bought also. Bought a ton of Sol. Yeah, man. I bought it up. So it's worked. Yam heating up. One of the first DePIN projects on Sol. It's waking up. I'll check that one out too. I don't have any DePIN. And a lot of people talk about DePIN. I'm not exposed there. But that Sol is at $150. Close to it. I don't mind selling a little more to layer into something else. VV Common Comics are the easiest 7X in the world. LOL. Easy to buy. Love VV. Yeah, 4 exchanges on OMI. They have to hit. OMI has to land on more exchanges. And it can't just be like Bybit or whatever. They have to be on multiple exchanges, and they got to land on a good one. They got to land on a KuCoin, a Kraken, a Binance. If you want that, billions in market cap. But I'm not convinced that they're going to get on those really big exchanges. I think we'll get some small exchanges for OMI. I think so, but I'm not convinced that we'll get on a big exchange. And I think it's going to be an issue, but we'll see. I just hate Solana Network. Yeah, it is what it is, man. As long as I'm cool as long as it doesn't affect the token price. 5.3 diminishing returns of every cycle. Yeah. And, Mark, you say that's my bear case on Bitcoin is 80K is my bear case on Bitcoin. It's going to break the all-time high, but I know 80K. I think it's going to get through there. I think it's so early and the ETFs are eating it up, but we're going to see. We'll find out. You can only know and look. You can only connect the dots looking back. So but again, Mark is. You have to think like this, right? You have to think of bear case, base case, bull case. Oh, not Stacks. Oh, I'm gonna write that one also. Stacks on Binance. Yeah. Genuine thinks Bitcoin breaks 150K. It could. I'm open to that possibility also. We're going to see. There's the theory that I talk to a lot of smart people about this stuff all the time. And there's that theory that, there's so much demand now with the ETF that it'll eat through that. But man, it's such a big number. And anything in the six figures is such a big number. And I think that anytime like a lot of people call for those big numbers, it falls short of it. And last cycle, it was 10K Ethereum. Raul Paul, 20K Ethereum. Last cycle, it was $5 ADA. And it just didn't happen. So I'm kind of mindful of those things. And, we'll see what happens. But 63 people still here, 2 hours in. I want to thank you all for coming through, man. A good chat on alts. We'll do it again soon. Make sure you hit the like, subscribe, join the membership if you want to support the channel. A cup of coffee a month, $3 a month. Get you into the, we have a Telegram. We've got about 22 channel members, about 15 people in the Telegram. But I'll be sharing my spreadsheets in there. I've been a little busy. I need to do that. And it's a good place to chat. Let me go through these real quick. Stocks I'm buying. Yep. I'm all in on alts. So Bitcoin shows us the timing. Yes, sir. Would love to hear your thoughts on the game Shrapnel. Yeah, I like Shrap. I think Shrap's going to do well. Could do like an Illuvium type thing. Yeah. I have so many gaming tokens, and I tend to gravitate towards the ecosystems. But I do like Shrapnel. And I love that, the big influencers love Shrapnel also. So thanks. You can't see me. Thanks for everyone for coming through. I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.